say that I'm a little bit old-fashioned when it comes to these things is an absolute understatement. And, like I said, when I announced this a couple weeks ago that I'd be taking part, I'm going to be uploading Team Builders 24 hours before the game as a separate video that's public. Enough said. How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the channel. Today is my Week 1 Team Builder video where I'll be showing you what I built for my SPL D-League game against DapperSnapper. This is my first Wi-Fi game ever, so it kind of comes with its own little bit of pressure because I want to win, and Dapper's team is relatively threatening due to the huge amount of variety he has in his team. We'll get into that momentarily. If you're looking forward to these sorts of team builders throughout the season, don't be afraid to hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you want to kind of see with these team builders. As I said previously, I do kind of want to handle this back to the Gym Leader Geo Mega Mall way of doing team builders. I guess El Scizor actually counts too, I think, if you go back that far. But those are the type of team builders I want to do. You know, show off the team, go through the matchup a little bit, go through my process step by step. Because that's the way that I would approach team building in general. And with this channel, I've always been someone that has had a little bit of a teaching element to it. You can see from some of my other videos with discussions that I've done. So I think this makes perfect sense for what I'm trying to do with this channel. Anyways, without further ado, let's hop into the matchup. So looking at Dapper's team here, it consists of a Deoxys Speed, Tinglu, Hatterene, Iron Crown, Ogerpon Teal Mask, Holution Armarouge, both of whom have access to Terra, Araquanid, Indeedee, Azumarill, and Dragolge. And it's safe to say that his team has plenty of different modes that it can go. The Psychic Terrain being the most obvious due to the plethora of Psychic types. And fun fact, he wanted Terra Espathra before I took it. Let's just say it's a good thing it's not on that team because that would be kind of demonic. The other options he has a Web Setter and Araquanid, which can make his offense quite potent, especially because of the fact that it would neuter some of my offensive threats really easily by dropping speed advantage. And I don't really want to be in a position where I need to bring heavy-duty boots on balls this week. He also has a Trick Room mode, because he has some scary slow threats in the form of Azumarill and Dragolge. Speaking of Azumarill, it is probably the biggest threat here. Mostly because of the fact that belly drum sets can absolutely solo me due to my lack of good fairy resists and just checks to +6 Aquagen in general. You could also go Choice Band because of my lack of said good play rough switch-ins, and there's also a chance that he goes defensive here, because it is actually his best check to Masquerada if he goes max Fizz Def and Sap Sipper. Although, I think I'll be able to determine which of those sets it is depending on what comes between the defensive and offensive units. And if it's offensive, I think Belly Drum's far better, so I need to respect it. In terms of that terrain mode, the scariest bit is actually none of the Psychic types. It's Holucha, by a mile, because SD sets with a well-timed Terra to get around some of my potential checks to it could leave me in a world of hurt. The main one that was standing out was a Terra Dark set with Bulk Up if it was able to get the Psychic Seed boost because of its ability to get through Spathra. Like I said, basically everything here is bringable. Like, you know it's an interesting matchup where his two worst mons are probably Iron Crown and Ogerpon, mostly because of the way that my team is designed. However, I still have to respect them in prep. So, it looks like I might have my work cut out for me. But let's get into how I tend to take this team down. Kicking us off, we have our Masquerada, or more particularly, we have a Choice Scarf Masquerada. And I think with this sort of matchup, Choice Scarf Masquerada is pretty self-explanatory. When you see a Deoxys Speed and their Psychic Terrain where there is no way of hitting a priority, yeah, Scarf Masquerada is just exactly what you need. So we have a fairly standard Masquerada here. We've gone with a set of U-Turn, Knockoff, Flower Trick, and Triple Axle, because with this set, I basically just hit his entire team. There was a few Terra types that I kind of missed out on that could be a little bit annoying. Terra Steel Holucha is one that comes to mind, but for the most part I have other ways of dealing with that. This thing's job is mostly to do with the Deoxys Speed, but it can also clean up a lot of endgames depending on what survives and what doesn't. His best check to this, like I said, is a Sap Sipper Azumarill if it decides to come, but he could use other ways, such as a Fizz Def Hatterene, which is a bit of a cope check, but it can do it, or more likely than that, a Rocky Helmet Dragolge. Masquerada is just a really easy starting piece, and I need to be able to build around that effectively. Pairing with this, I decided that with the bunch of Psychic types, it makes a ton of sense for me to be bringing Jirachi. and particularly a SPDF Jirachi. Jirachi this week is rocking the Citrus Berry because it helps live particular hits, the main one coming to mind being Life Orb Deoxys Shadow Balls. And we've gone with a set of Stealth Rock, Wish, Ironhead, and U-Turn. Stealth Rock, I need the hazards up, especially if Armor Rouge decides to come. Ironhead and U-Turn are relatively self-explanatory. U-Turn for momentum to hit a ton of psychic types, and Ironhead for stab because this is my main way of dealing with Hatterene. Wish is an interesting one. I can wish in a bunch of different situations. Hatterene is one, Grigald is another, Fizdef Azu is another note. The SPDF that I have, like I said, is related to Life Orb Deoxys Shadow Ball, but as well it just maximizes my SPDF output, which should help me deal with the plethora of special attackers, especially with Psychic Terrain active. I can take the expanded forces very, very easily. So it was easy to see that I had one issue with these first two, and that would be what would happen if he decides to bring webs. So I needed to bring Rapid Spin, so Quackle Ball is up next. Now, Air Balloon is an interesting item, because why didn't I just go Heavy Duty Boots? Well, the reason for that is because I didn't like any of my ground immunities in this matchup. I felt that Lando I could very easily get overwhelmed and didn't really achieve a whole lot, and Rotom just felt obsolete, despite maybe being able to check Hawlucha if he decides to knock out Throat Chop, which would be quite surprising, and would mean that he's a very tame set. With me not liking any of them, and the fact they don't really do too well against Tinglu anyways, made me very worried about the EQ button, especially if Tinglu decides to go weakness policy in this game, which is relatively likely. So having the Air Balloon here meant that clicking U-Turn with Jirachi on Tinglu felt a hell of a lot safer. In terms of what we have as a set, we have Rapid Spin, Wave Crash, Knockoff, and Brave Bird. Wave Crash over Aqua Step because I need that added damage to Tinglu. Rapid Spin is self-explanatory, being able to get rid of the potential rocks, spikes, or webs if the Araquanid does show up, because that's kind of the main concern. Brave Bird to hit the aforementioned Araquanid. It's also my best bet, just in terms of neutral hit here versus Gulch, and Knockoff to be able to get rid of key items, which is pretty nice. Our investment here means that we outspeed a modest Armor Rouge. I will be quite surprised if it shows up. And before I forget, the Meowscarada does outspeed an Armor Rouge after a weak armor activation, which is pretty important because it gives me that failsafe versus what could be a very potent cleaner. You're probably noticing with these three, one issue that is still there, and that is Belly Drum Azumarill. Because of the fact of the way that my Quackle Ball set is, a Belly Drum is relatively likely, unless I manage to get the +1 from Moxie if Quackle Ball doesn't kill. So I had a relatively unique solution to this, which was also a solution to unburden Hawlucha in a variety of cases. Enter Alomomola, rocking the Mirror Herb. Yes, Mirror Herb is quite an insane tech, if you ask me, but it was a needs-must situation, and was the best solution I could think of for Belly Drum Azu. With my minimal attack investment, Acrobatics at +6 does kill an Azumarill from 75%. The rest of the set, we have Liquidation, because +6 Flip Turn doesn't kill a Tinglu, really sad. We have Aqua Jet, to be able to pick off some weakened Mons if the Psychic Terrain is not brought, which, let's be real, he's not going to bring Belly Drum Azu and Psychic Terrain on the same build. I would be incredibly surprised. Our last move is Icy Wind, and that is to help deal with Hawlucha, specifically the bulk up variations, as one Icy Wind means that he will be slower than my Meowscarada in most cases. So that little bit of attack investment, like I said, allows for Acrobatics to do its job. It also means that I kill Ogerpon if he tries to SD at my face, which is quite funny. And having Acrobatics is also quite nice for breaking subs on a bunch of Armor Rouge Terra types. And it also means that Hawlucha just dies if it doesn't Terra in front of me and tries to clean SD. Overall, I know this is a bit of a bonkers solution, but it is a solution that works because I still live all the hits that I need to, and it'll be pretty easy to tell if it's Choice Band. We then get to my Overquill this week, and Overquill's job is actually to check the Armor Rouge. I'm quite worried about Dapper's Terra Captains this week, because both of them are quite threatening in their own right. So this week we were rocking the Assault Vest on my Overquill. We've gone with Poison Point over Intimidate, just because I'm a little bit worried about Defiant Ogrepon, because if he gets a chance to boost, Grasp Move plus Stomping Tantrum kind of just runs train on this team, so I don't really want to risk that if I don't have to. Especially since I think one Ogrepon set that's kind of likely is it running Choice Scarf itself, because of the fact that it can outspeed Ignis with Spathra. So this HP in SPF means that I take 2 armor cannons at rocks. We have a little bit of attack with an Adamant Nature, just to maximize damage output, and then the little bit of defense helps us with Stomping Tantrum, the Oxus Callus. We have Poison Point as our ability, like I said, and we've gone with a set of Barbarage, Crunch, Liquidation, and Aqua Jet. The dual stab is pretty self-explanatory. Aqua Jet is there to have priority, and because I couldn't really think of a better move, and Liquidation is there to give me some extra damage onto the Ting Lu, as the other two don't quite get the job done. It's highly unlikely that I'm actually going to be keeping this thing in, as I'm likely always going Duck on the Ting Lu. Maybe Aloe, probably Duck. But yeah, this thing's main job is to check the Armor Rouge. It can also check the special threats that I mentioned, kind of relieving pressure on the Jirachi, and just kind of rounds out this defensive piece of it nicely. As for my last, I felt I needed a bit more breaking power, as Guacamole had a very specific role, so it can't really be as reckless, and Miascarada is more cleaner this week. So, what fit the bill here? Espathra did. And yeah, we're bringing a Life Orb Espathra this week that's modest. We are rocking the Terra Grass, as I knew I wanted a Terra type that allowed for me to A, resist Aqua Jet, B, resist EQ, and C, give me the strongest damaging move that I could into a Ting Lu. So Terra Grass Energy Ball made the most sense. I combined that with Lumina Crash for general coverage and the chance of SPF drops, and Shadow Ball to hit the bunch of Psychic types that aren't needy. And then I have Protect just to guarantee myself the speed boost, and all of a sudden, we're in really, really good shape. I almost brought Expanding Force this week, and while yes, that would have been really, really cool, I'm not sure the Indeedee is actually going to show up, so I'm much better off with Lumina Crash for the consistency. We have a modest max special attack this week, with the 244 in speed, ensuring that I can outrun... What is it? Oh yeah, Iron Crown, I think was the thing, just to be safe. Yeah, this thing is causing an absolute dent in his team, especially if the Ting Lu is not max SPF, which I think is relatively likely, because if he's weakness policy, he's going to want attack investment, and there's also a chance he wants some defense investment anyways to deal with stuff like Jirachi. This Bathroom forces a lot of pressure, and I think could definitely snowball itself in the late game, especially if Psychic Terrain is brought. This Mon is one of the main reasons as to why I'm so worried about a Terra Lucha, but overall this thing should be totally fine. And that is the team that I have brought for week 1. If you have any questions about the team, don't be afraid to leave them down in the comments, and you can come back in about 24 hours and you will see the week 1 battle to see how this team did. I hope you guys have all enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm still in the event of trying to grow this channel, and especially with me being the smallest creator in this D-League, your support means the world. Anyways guys, I shall catch you tomorrow for the week 1 game. Peace!